have, you know, obviously any kind of protection from the elements out there. They're in very cold water. It does look like those are life jackets that they have on.
It appears as though they have life jackets on. Still, that's a fast current. You can clearly tell it's a very quick current, as you mentioned, Ted. And now there's another boat in there.
Yep. They've got their second boat in. And it certainly appears that they know where these people are because they have their boats focused on this area. I'm sure it's a matter of trying to figure out how to maneuver through those trees to get back there to them.
Yeah. Don, have you been communicating with them about their location?
No, we have not, but I would assume that that airboat is so noisy that they weren't able to communicate via a two-way radio. However, this particular motorboat is, and it looks like they're getting in here now. We're kind of at a disadvantage because all of this is happening underneath the canopy here, but and we are quite a distance away to keep our noise down from not interfering with this rescue operation here.
Well, you're giving us a great picture. We definitely have a very good view of what's happening. I know you're trying to get right in between those trees. It did look like that white boat was getting really close to where they were, and hopefully they are able to communicate right now and try to get the folks moving in that direction and get them hooked up under there. Difficult to see, though, in this spot.
We're trying to maneuver, but it's very difficult because we're so far away.
We still
have a pretty full tank of gas, so it's hard to hover.
Yeah. We still haven't seen a possible third individual. They just look like they're just barely holding on there and trying to perform a balancing act either on that side of the boat or the capsized portion of it, but waiting for that other rescue boat to come in because at least they have life vests on, and that's somewhat reassuring and comforting.
What's worrying is that you had mentioned that there were 3 people.
Right.
We've only seen 2, so I don't know if another one is clinging to a tree or the other one has floated downstream somehow. We just don't have that information just yet.
Well, and unfortunately, we heard that the call came in that there were 3 people, but only 2 life vests, and the 2 people that we're seeing here are 2 people with life vests on. And I can tell that that boat is pretty close. We see it up under the canopy there. It looks like they are offloading some equipment from the boat to try to get over there to them. Perhaps they are as close as they can get. Obviously, this is not a normal part of the creek. This is an area, a heavily wooded area, and that water has just come up so high. So there's no easy way for them to get straight back there to where these folks are.
Well, that's right, because this area normally wouldn't be underwater, and so it's difficult because where the people are that they're trying to rescue, there's foliage and trees and everything else between them and the rescuers.
Yeah, not a waterway that they're dealing with there. It just became one today. And as you kind of come around the bend here, we've got our better shot again of these 2 people that are still there on top of their boat. It looks like maybe they're communicating with some of those rescuers. They are facing toward them through those trees, so perhaps they're able to at least see what's happening and see that help is on the way. It also looks like they've gotten into a spot where they're in a little bit of a lower current, and we just saw a rope being tossed out to them.
We have a lifeline there, an extension.
Really good news for these 2
that
people.
Certainly is. Now you can see it, just sort of the current carry that lifeline further down. You wonder, because there is so much brush in such a heavily wooded area, it almost looks as though he's helping pull them in, or they're going to pull.
They're going to get closer. It does look like they're waiting for the rescuers to get closer to them, and now we will see this woman perhaps climb out of the boat. It does look like she's still pulling them over to where they are, and you can again see that current moving right there behind them.
Now she's in the water. There she goes, and she's on her way, I believe, isn't she, Don?
That's what it appears. Art jumped out of the boat, and the other rescue boat is underneath all of this canopy here. Now the other person just jumped out as well, but I did not see a lifeline to them.
Right, I didn't see him grabbing that line, but perhaps he did have something there in his hands that we weren't able to see. It looks like they're going to try to go under all of those trees and make their way through some of the woods and then get into that rescuer boat, which is certainly some good news.
Yeah, we're gonna try to move around here and see if we can actually see the other boat. We're hoping that they made it to it.
Very difficult because, as Don is reminding us, he's actually staying at a pretty far distance away. We're totally zoomed in here with our chopper, but you know, we've kept a pretty far distance because we're trying to give them as much quiet as they possibly can have so that they can hear each other, so that the rescuers can hear those folks that were stuck. And no doubt that helped them to get to them with this much cover of woods.
Yeah, because they needed to have that open line of communication to be able to yell to them to find out where they were. Still in that heavily wooded area, you will eventually see a smaller white boat, an engine boat that is, you know, with it on the back portion of the boat, and you'll see that exit from that area. And they will have two additional passengers.
We're trying to maneuver around now so we can bring you that picture.
So the question will become, is there a third person that is stuck out here? Was there another person involved with this group, or did the call come in incorrectly? Because as Don has pointed out, it's troublesome to hear that the call came in that there were 3 people out here in the woods, stranded in this water, needing rescuing. Only 2 life jackets between the 3 of them. However, the call also came in that somebody was stuck in a tree. So perhaps there was another person that we just weren't able to see.
That's the airboat there. Yeah, there are 2 boats actually in there. That's the airboat, and the white boat is to the left.
So it had gone to that exact same spot. And
right.
Perhaps there's another person that was hanging onto a tree.
It almost appears as though they're trying to wrestle somebody out of a tree, but I don't know that. You know, that's speculation at this point, but they do have someone there without a shirt on, and don't know whether that person was one of those in that other boat. You know what? I believe they do have 3, because they have those 2. Look, you see
them hugging.
There are the hugs that they have been rescued. No doubt there are plenty of tears, and we see 2 of them whom have been rescued.
2 people, it looks like, yep,
yes.
Right there in the airboat.
But no doubt there is a lot of relief at this point, now that and who knows how many hours they've possibly been in that area. Because you could be in there for hours without anyone noticing you, right?
Well, and as we were talking about, very cold water as well. We're going to get a better look at these people now that they have made it on to safe land with the rescuers there being helped out of that airboat, no doubt, exhausted and very cold at this point.
Yeah, there's the woman with a blue sort of tarp over her shoulders. The other gentleman, they're racing them off to another vehicle, presumably get them checked out to make sure everything is okay.